Senators Joe Lieberman and Susan Collins say that the influence of large institutional investors is a very big reason behind the run-up we've seen in oil, even food prices. So they are proposing banning funds with more than $500 million in assets from investing in commodities, period. Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano says a move like this would be outright unconstitutional. Judge,
clearly unconstitutional, Neil, for them to
Why
say...
would it be?
Well, basically what they're saying is that you and I can enter into a contract whereby you pay me a certain amount of money today and I guarantee what your oil or natural gas price will be 2 or 3 or 4 years from now. But if we get too successful, if you're so good at this that you're worth $500 million, or I'm so good at this that I'm worth $500 million, we have to stop. So basically this law, or this bill, if it becomes law, would A, punish people for becoming successful, something the Congress, with all the laws it's written, has never done, and B, take a class of investors, major universities with endowments, major pension funds, and say, you can't invest in that kind of an asset. Congress doesn't have any authority for that under the Constitution. It's the equivalent of taking away from them their freedom to invest. That will cost the Congress money.
Here's where they're, I guess, trying to delineate a bit of a difference. The commodities, things like oil and food, aren't like stocks per se, and that it is distinctly possible that larger players could corner or hoard a market on something that is national emergency stuff.
Well, the Congress is basically saying that it knows more about how money flows through the economy than those who put their money at risk. Now, that's inconceivable, because if you're willing to risk money in the marketplace by predicting what a certain commodity is going to be worth at a certain time in the future, you obviously have a great understanding of that, unless you're just throwing your money away. But if Congress is trying to change the law of supply and demand. If more people want milk, and there's a finite amount of milk, and the price of milk goes up, what is the Congress going to do? Force farmers to sell milk at a lower price?
That's a very good point.
That's the same thing that they're doing here with oil.
Understood. By the way, if they did this with bakery products, they'd be here.
They'd have a problem with you. I'd be with you.
But here's my issue, Judge, that they are arguing that speculators, investors, have a far greater role in, for example, the oil markets than they did when you and I were younger with the 2 energy crises. And it's a different game now, and we have to police it.
But for them to take away the right of someone to earn a living, to sell an instrument, to predict what an asset is going to be worth, that's a taking. And under the Fifth Amendment, when the Congress takes away your right, or the government takes away your right to earn a living, to make an investment, says this class of people can do this, but this class of people cannot, they've got to pay you for what they've taken from you.
But they have to acknowledge that if they don't do anything, there could be even, more hell to pay for not doing anything.
Well, what they've done is they've picked on a small group of high-risk investors who are not very popular with the public. They're not even known to the public. Most of these people are real risky investors and speculators. Those are the people that they've targeted so that they can say to their constituents, look at what we did. We stopped those nasty investors. Those nasty investors are Princeton University, Harvard University, major pension funds, entities trying to make money for their shareholders.
Thank you, Judge. I will never get in an argument with you again.
It's always my pleasure. Let's have some Twinkies with us.
There we go.